Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, could you ask the clerk to report House Committee Sub 1?
Clerk, please report.
House Committee Substitute 1 to House Bill 502.
General Rainham.
The explanation of this bill got to be tolerable for a little while because I'll have to explain this. Most of us know that DNA is our genetic information. Deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid are the unbranched macromolecular polymers and nucleotides, each composed either of deoxyribo or ribo sugars. They have a phosphate group and a nitrogen group. Now, there's 5 different bases that exist, 4 for DNA and a change of 1 for RNA. The structure allows for genetic diversity, correct copying of genes for their passage on to the next generation, and the accurate production of proteins. You have to have proteins to repair normal body cells. That's all that scientific part for now. Today, a number of companies offer direct-to-consumer, or DTC, genetic testing. Usually it's through the internet, which is increasingly inexpensive and widely available to the public. Genetic testing of all sorts can be as easy as using your credit card to order a kit over the internet. You swab a few cheek cells, mail it back the kit to the laboratory, and receive an email with the information for which you have paid. Depending on the information sought, tests currently cost consumers anywhere from $100 to more than $300 for an entire genome scan. Genome is your total genetic sum in the body. So it's everything added together. This is a growing field of recreational genomics or personal genomics in which consumers seek their genetic information for personal reasons rather than under a doctor's supervision. As genetic information sharing gets easier, we need to have guardrails in place to ensure one's individual right to privacy is there. Current federal genetic privacy protections currently in place stem from several laws, including HIPAA, the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act of 2008, and the Federal Trade Commission's ability to bring actions against unfair or deceptive business practices. However, these laws do not cover all forms of genetic testing that a consumer may engage with, including the DTC genetic test. At the federal level, neither the Federal Trade Commission nor the FDA regulate the vast majority of laboratories that provides DTC genetic testing services. So what can theft result in? When I first started this, just a side note, the James Bond film was the last one was based upon genetic theft. And today, some people are saying that our genomes are being collected by other countries. So this is a little bit out of the box. But DNA theft can result in the exposure of medical information a person wishes to keep private or may not even know him or herself, such as a predisposition to certain cancers or Alzheimer's disease. Genetic information can reveal a great deal about predisposition to disease as well as existing medical conditions that might otherwise be difficult to detect. DNA theft can reveal information about victims, the family relations that you have, such as whether a child is genetically related to them or whether they themselves the genetic children of their parents. Someone who suspects that a celebrity or other public figures related to a child may attempt to obtain a genetic sample for journalism, extortion, or entertainment. Whatever the nature of the information that the DNA thief seeks, the non-consensual collection and analysis of his victim's genetic information substantially interferes with the victim's ability to control her personal information, or his. The right to informational privacy is just not a bioethical principle. It is also an aspect of a more general right to privacy, and a right is recognized as a matter of federal constitutional law, as well as in the constitutional law of some states. Let me repeat. This private information is so easily obtained without consent, it simply takes sending a check, swab to the laboratory, and reading results online a few weeks later. As exciting as this new technology is, consumers are virtually clueless about their information and that the information might be used after it is reviewed by the company. Likewise, the legal gray areas leads companies to do whatever they please with consumers' information. Now, after years on the market, companies like 23andMe and Ancestry store billions of personal data and information collected from the company's services. But unfortunately, there are no safeguards in place to keep them from oversharing your data with third parties. DNA theft is more than just traditional theft law. Unlike financial records, internet data, and conventional private property, there are few, if any, precautions that can prevent this thief. Mr. Speaker, I ask that the clerk report on House Floor Amendment 3.
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 3 to House Bill 502.
Gentleman from Greenup.
House Floor Amendment 3 is guaranteeing that our investigational universities and people using DNA for further research will be available. So, Mr. Speaker, I move passage of House Bill 502 as amended by House Committee Sub 1 by House Floor Amendments 2 and 3.